Welcome back. My name is Matt Santianes. I'm the land guy. So this video is kind of more for some of the newbies out there who are wanting to get into some type of real estate investing. Now, a lot of people kind of naturally tend to start in the house flipping area. That's where I started. I started wholesaling houses. Nothing wrong with that. Um, I would argue that it's an extremely difficult area to to really get good at. You can wholesale houses. I've done many. You could flip houses. I've done many as well. But I'm going to give you a few reasons why you should probably think about flipping land instead of flipping houses to start off with. Now, so land, it has no tenants, there's no structures, there's no repairs, no tenants, no termites, no toilets, as it's a very popular saying in land. Houses carry renovation and holding risks, right? So land has very low taxes, low maintenance, if any, and houses cost more for with their mortgage, utilities, and upkeep. So that's something to consider. As far as scalability, so whenever you start thinking of making this a full-time thing and you want to start doing lots of deals and uh, really increasing that volume, land makes that much easier. Flipping houses, it's very laborious. It's capital intensive, right? Um, you could flip houses, you'll make, generally speaking, you make more money per deal, but the profits come in slower because you have to renovate the properties, and it's generally much more risky because of the capital that is required to invest. And as far as competition goes, land is generally speaking much less competitive than houses. The housing market is extremely crowded. So all in all, land is a great place for you to start investing. It requires very little capital up front, and really you could start wholesaling land just like you could do houses, which is what I still do today in many of my properties. Um, I started out with small properties, a little couple $100 lots that you can buy for between two, $500, $1,000, and then sell them for three, four, or five times that amount. So that's a great area to start with. You're risking very little money, and there's always going to be a buyer for properties like that. Sometimes they do sit on the market for a while, but the worst case worst is you're sitting on a couple $1,000s in properties that you now own, and you own an asset, a vacant piece of land, and it's really not taking any money out of your pocket. With houses, right? You buy a house for a couple $100,000 today. You've got one asset, and you got a lot of risk. Something could happen to the house, it could burn down. Maybe you got in, or you should have insurance, I should say. But tools can get stolen. You got a lot of personalities to deal with in these properties. That was one of the main things I just did not like to deal with in houses, is all the personalities that you have to deal with all the contractors, all the brokers coming by, all the appraisers, the property inspectors just going back and forth. This repair, that repair needs to be done. But before I knew it, we hire contractors to get all these things done. But then you have all these little things that need to be done. And you try to save a buck here, so you'll paint this, you'll fix this little thing. And it's easily to get yourself involved in these deals much more than you want to. So with land, I can easily do the stuff virtually. And that was always my goal because I travel a lot. I live in China for periods at a time. My wife is from China. We have a home in China, and I go live there for a year or more at certain times. And you'll see in future videos, I'll be doing real estate investing from China, right here in the US. So I just love that. I love simplicity. I love the ability to easily and effectively do my business and real estate investing from anywhere in the world without having to rely on local boots on the ground. If you're flipping houses, you could still do that virtually. There's a lot of people out there who are pretty successful at what they do, flipping houses. But you have to have somebody here on the ground. You have to have people who are looking at these houses or hiring people to go see these properties for you. Even then, if you're actually renovating these properties, you have to have those people go into the house and renovate them for you. So, there you are again, dealing with multiple personalities, people not showing up. They show up late, they do a bad job. You got to hire somebody else to come fix the job that they did a bad job on. Should you do houses? It's really just up to you. So it's all a personal preference thing. I've done them. I probably would never do them again. I just enjoy the simplicity of land a lot more. I find that I can make just as much money flipping land as I do flipping houses, if not more, because of the fact that I can scale my land business a lot easier than I personally could with flipping houses. So I just recommend that if you're going to start out, you should start out with something simple, small investments, easy to understand. There's really not a whole lot to understand when it comes to flipping land. It's just basically the price of the property, right? And some other basic stuff that you can learn as far as evaluating a deal. Everything's done on Google Maps, satellite view, map view. If it's got street view, that's an excellent advantage. You never have to go see these properties. I basically have never seen any one of the properties that I bought, and I bought and sold hundreds of properties. And I love that. I don't ever want to go see these properties. I mean, I could do everything right here from where I'm sitting. Or when I'm living in China, I could do everything from my home in China, right? During the day, I work a little bit and then I go travel some. I'm gonna go surfing, right? We're going surfing here in Florida here in a couple of weeks, and we're going for an extended vacation. We're going for 3 weeks because I can. I don't have to be here. Everything that I'm doing can be done from afar. And I'll possibly do a video here in the future just to kind of show you how I set up some of my systems to where it's taken me out of 90% of the daily tasks that have to be done in order for me to flip a particular piece of property successfully. It's taken a lot of time putting some of these SOPs together, standard operating procedures for my 8 virtual assistants that I have, but it made a huge difference. So maybe I'll do a video about that. Long story short, I think land's a great way to start for somebody who's new to investing. I think it's easier to learn, easier to scale, less risk, and I think that you will be much less stressed out compared to if you started in houses. But again, it's a preference thing. If you like that fix and flipping and you like to go turn the wrenches yourself and swing a hammer, it might be good for you to go flip houses. So if you found this content useful, please like and subscribe. If you have a piece of land that you want to sell, you can go to my website at usa123land.com and submit your property information that way. But as always, flip dirt, surf more, live well, and live free, my friends. I'll see you in the next video.